Ready?
What's up? What's happening?
Yeah, welcome back to another episode of DMT. Don't miss this podcast with me, Sam Butler. Of course, Jack Anderson, as always. Don't forget, check us out, bestwordscantina.com. We got new merch. We got hats on our heads, and it's a good time. It's a good time for real.
It's a place with a lot of stuff and a lot of things that most would consider dope. Most in all circles and all places would say that dopeness has been achieved.
Dopeness has been achieved, indeed. It's also our home for our podcast. It's where our entire collection lies, outside of all the other various streaming platforms. And
Minus SoundCloud because they suck.
Yeah,
Just
true.
kidding. They got great remixes.
True.
Yeah.
But also, where are you going to put them? You can't put them on your iTunes.
Can't put them on your iTunes, and SoundCloud advertisements are 30 seconds every single time. Boo.
Boo.
Anyway.
But yeah, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, DMT Studios, where you'll catch us and DMT reviews every Tuesday. And this every Friday. Otherwise, check us out on Instagram at SammyB_DMT. You at Silverback Sasquatch 1162. Also, same handles on Twitch, which I'm going to start getting back into.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit, but I got to get back on.
You know, you just got to find your niche there. You
Oh.
know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
And also, I just absolutely need a better TV to play it
Yeah.
because it's kind of annoying to play it off my laptop.
I need a better laptop. My laptop sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how about we get this show started, huh? Damn it. Fuck that up. It should have been smoother.
Hey.
Welcome to the dance floor, boys.
That's where our real theme song comes in.
Yeah.
Is it always starts with "Welcome to the Dance Floor,
Welcome to
Boys."
the Dance Floor Boys. No, that's how we end it. That's how we end the pre-roll stuff.
I'm into it.
Welcome to the dance floor, boys.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
We start off with what's up, what's happening, end it with welcome to the Dance Floor Boys.
I'm into it.
Every week, if we could hear that, it just makes me happier because it's like we found it.
We found it. We what's like a classical hunt? You know, what do people hunt for like Moby Dick, right? It's
yeah,
a great
Moby
example.
Dick, the Loch Ness Monster, basically any cryptid.
Any of the cryptids. Don Cheadle's "Welcome to the Dance Floor, Boys" from Age of Ultron TV spot
It was
from 2015.
Honestly, an elusive audio cryptid.
Yes,
if we think
and
about
we found it.
We found it.
After much labor. Actually,
Success.
he found it, but you know.
It took some lead work, but thank you for Reddit's existence because everything you can find on Reddit.
Give it up for Reddit.
Yep. Give it up for Reddit.
I'm into it.
Yeah, buddy. How was your week?
Good week. Good week. Sorry for the scream. I realize I talking to microphones really loudly.
Well, Jack, I have to tune myself down because I already talk so loud as it is.
Yeah.
That even if we're on the same level on the board, I'm still louder.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
That's our voices, though, yo.
I mean, yeah, I just have a performer's voice.
Yeah.
People are like, wow, you talk really loud. It's like, no, I project.
I have the
I
voice.
fucking project.
I have the voice of the people that are typically remembered in history. Anyway, my week was really great.
Cracker ass crackers.
Hey, name's Jack
I'm
Anderson.
messing with you guys.
Yeah, what'd I do this week? Oh, I got vaccinated, so that was cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I still have to fucking get mine. It'll probably be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Yeah, hopefully. Here's my thing. This seems to be the case with the vaccine, is it's incredibly difficult to get set up, constantly an inconvenience for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, it just seems not to be. You know what I mean? I spent...
Well, that's why when I got emailed from my hospital, I was just like, I'm going to wait on this because there's a surge. And right away, they were like, well, we can get you in tomorrow. It's just you're going to have to go to Durango.
Oh, yeah. I've heard
Yeah,
about
I'll just
this.
hop on a plane and get shot, and then 2 weeks later do the same.
Yeah, one of my buddies has to go to Pueblo on Sunday to get it. It's crazy, you know?
It's not quite Durango,
Not
though.
quite Durango. No. But still, I mean, that's hour, 45-minute drive. This shit's crazy. And I got lucky because, my mom just she's had, thing with UC Health in the past. And so I just one day she was like, I got an extra sign up. You're going to get your shot today. And I was like, I don't want a shot because I hate shots. And I was like, if I don't do this right now, it will continue to be a problem. And if I do it right now, then the problem begins to be solved. So I went and literally, it was you know, she's all like, "Oh, the line's massive. It's crazy. Like, you got to get there super early and find parking and all that." So I get there like an hour early, find parking right away. You know, it's a crazy parking lot, but right away I go in. There's no line. I just really have to pee, and there's a bathroom right there. No inconvenience there. And go take my temperature. They say walk down that hall. I walk down. There's so many COVID like 6 feet apart dots. Nobody's standing on them because nobody's in the hall. I walk right down. I walk in the room. The dude says, "Dope shoes, go to 3B." I go to 3B, sit down, get a needle in my arm, and I just look at the lady. She's like, "Okay, you're good." And I go, 1 year later. And that's all I said. And I stood up and walked away. And I was just, because I was sitting there, I'm like, yeah, obviously this is how it works. It's just like, it doesn't really hit you until you're in the moment. You're like, all right, March 16th, 2020, I basically lost my job. I basically, you know, sat around for 8 months. I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like I wrote and I saw friends from time to time and like I did things.
Ooh, don't you admit
I
that
know,
on the podcast?
I know. I'm gonna get in big trouble. Cancel me.
Which it's kind of just remarkable that you never caught it.
I know. I mean, like, knock on. Maybe I did. Maybe it was symptomatic. You just don't know, right? You just, and
Jack, you killed someone's grandma.
I don't think I saw any grandmas, but you know, it's kind of like the butterfly effect. You know, a cough and the disease floats through the air, and but if you, but
no, tell us more about how diseases work.
I was gonna say, I mean, if you're outside, like again, it's the whole thing. Like, go outside. It's not that big of a deal. You know, most people are wearing masks outside, and if you're outside and you're 6 feet apart, there's almost no chance you'll get it.
Well, that's my new belief that I've turned over is when I'm walking from the library back to the cookie shop. I'm like, why am I wearing a mask? There's almost never anybody that I cross.
Especially on a sunny day. Like the virus actually, you know, dies in heat. It doesn't do very well in heat. So it's like, yeah, when it's 90 degrees outside, I don't think we're going to be passing this thing around. It's going to be, you know, leaving our bodies and then like floating to the next person, and then it's just going to die in the air. You know what I mean? Again, circumstances are circumstances. Shit happens. I'm being very, you know, I'm painting with a very broad brush right now. But again, it's just nice to know that these sorts of things, I think, really are on the path of getting better. Like, I really think we're on the mend. We're getting back to what society needs to be, and it's going to be fascinating to see what society is going to be after all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like the normalcy is starting to come back in. The crazy is allowed out, as we've seen with the amount of shootings going on. We didn't have one last year, really. Maybe at like the beginning before everything. Yeah. And now it's just like, oh, well, I just got vaccinated. Time to mow down a group of people.
It's going to be a weird, probably 5 years, I bet. Like, like as far as
just to see how the lack of socializing in person. Yeah. Well, because I mean, even though that I've really these 2 hours that we do on Friday, these 2 episodes is the most I get to talk in a week.
Really?
You know? Otherwise it's like to my dad. Sure. You know? But the most I get to talk in a week. Yeah. So that's kind of probably why I bowl over you a lot.
Sure. No, I've
gotten a lot better about it.
I talk to myself all the time, so I
don't
need to hear myself
that's
talk
different. You want to hear how I talk to myself this week? I was driving home. Okay, this is just a little tangential story, a little palate cleanser as far as funny, because
my story wasn't funny, dude?
Oh, it's so bleak, Jack. You got your shot, and now it's like, oh, you could go out in the world with your card and be like, which one did you get?
Pfizer.
Oh, so you got the second shot.
I got 2, and apparently, so the first one hurts the arm. Don't get me wrong. Apparently, the second one fucks you up. But whatever, you know.
Well, that's kind of what I heard. But I've had this thing twice. I would go Johnson & Johnson if people didn't get blood clots from it.
Right.
Yeah, 6 people, and they're like, well, that's bad. We got to pull it out.
Got to get rid of it.
I mean, they're probably just predisposed. Yeah. I just want the one. You know what? I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's some back alley fucking McDonald's ass vaccine. Just anything so I can have a card that the next time I get a cold, I'm not locked in this fucking basement for another 2 weeks. 28 days is too much for the Sammy B.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I've started over the past year calling myself Sammy B real consistently. It's not really that good to refer to yourself in the third person so much.
Nah, it's fine.
Where you're so fucking out of whack socially that it's like I'm a character in my own story, Jack.
Yeah, that's how I've always felt about myself.
I've never heard you once call yourself Jackie D.
I mean, not out loud to everybody else, but in my car, man, that's all I talk.
Bring it to the show so I don't feel like such a narcissistic fuck. No, but anyway, so I'm driving back home and I'm like, I just turned off Broadway onto Alameda. And I'm going, and I see this guy on the sidewalk, and he's kind of like leaning a little bit forward. And as I'm getting closer, I'm like, is his ass out of his pants? And as I'm passing, shit just rockets out of his pants all over the sidewalk. I just went, oh my God. And then I just started laughing so fucking hard.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favorite thing. That was the highlight of the week, Jack.
Yeah.
Was this bum shitting all over the road. Like, the next line out of my mouth was, nature's healing.
Again, I just think, the universe is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the more I just, like, slow down and pay attention, I'm like, oh, yeah, fucked up shit happens all the time. And, like, as long as it's not happening to you, you just observe it. You know what I mean? Because it's happening. And I have a similar kind. I mean, your story is much more of, like, the
I think my favorite part about it was how it was just an initial shock of like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it was my favorite thing ever. Like, I wasn't totally disgusted. Like, what is wrong with him?
No.
I think I'm just so desensitized because of your mom's house.
Right.
I've seen so many people shit on so many things, and so many of those people end up eating that shit that I'm just desensitized to poop. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of my entire week.
Well, and you got to look at it from that person's perspective too. We all do that, right? We all do what that guy did. It's not like he did something disgusting and unprecedented.
It's just
right?
the location and time.
Exactly. And like you think about that, we all have access to these bowls of water that send our shit down into the shit pipes. And that's great. But this guy probably goes to many places that really it wouldn't be that big of a deal if he took a shit there.
It wasn't that far from the 7-Eleven.
Right.
So unless he's had just problems there that they're like, dude, no.
Yeah.
And then he was just walking down the street. He's like, I gotta go now.
Gotta go. You never. That could
That's
be
7-Eleven.
exactly
This
it.
is on them. This is on that 7-Eleven. No, he was in between a Sinclair and a 7-Eleven. So
Yeah.
he must have pissed off both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Or he just got kicked out of the Sinclair on his way to the 7-Eleven. And he's like, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'm going to keep walking. I'll wipe in there.
What's the big deal when you go on a hike? You do that, and everyone's like, "Good for you." Make sure you bring toilet paper. You know what I mean? Like, why is this gentleman now a pariah in society?
I've never had to take a shit on a hike.
Really? I took my first poo in the woods a couple years ago, and it was.
Well, I've shit in the woods before.
Oh, okay. You never like gone on a hike?
No, I've never gone on a hike and then shit in the woods. I've been like camping, and it's been real far from the fucking outhouse. And you just go and you dig a hole and you squat and you pop.
Yeah, it's easy, and
You know?
it's the exact same experience with a hike. In fact,
Well, and when you have to shit like that, you learn, oh, this is why there's holes in the ground in India and Asia,
This is
Because
why
this is how people were supposed to poop.
this is why they invented the Squatty-Potty.
Yes, I'm so glad that we found an organic way to bring up the Squatty-Potty.
2 weeks
last,
later.
2 weeks ago, we were like, we have to talk about the Squatty-Potty on the podcast.
We have to, and now we have. Listen, if you don't have a Squatty-Potty, go buy a Squatty-Potty.
This is an actual PSA. Get a Squatty-Potty.
Yeah, they're really not that expensive, and they are unbelievably beneficial.
Well, that was my thing, was learning how inexpensive they were. Because my whole journey with the Squatty-Potty, it started in Lakewood, okay? It was because we were over at Carl's house for a party, and they had a Squatty-Potty. And I was like, what's this? And I was drunk enough to entertain it rather than just being like, for the birds.
Right.
For the birds, guys. And so I did it, and it just, whoop, everything came right out. It was super easy.
Yeah, and I remember I got mine.
I think I was in the bathroom. I went, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it surprises you, and it surprises you how clean and efficient everything is, and it's just like, oh wow, oh shit, literally.
Yeah.
I got mine, and my dad was like, what are you doing with that? I'm like. He's like, that's not useful. And I'm like, have you ever used it? And he goes, no. And I'm like, well, I can't listen to you then about this, Because here's my argument.
He's knocked it before he tried it.
Here's my argument. Look at a dog, a bear, any animal, really. Any animal that has like long limbs, they squat to shit. They do because it makes sense. Because what it does is it tilts your hips with your bowels and everything. It gets just in a straight line. And guess what?
Yeah.
Gravity goes down.
Well, yeah, and also with you compressing everything, it just...
Yeah.
It's like a toothpaste.
Exactly.
Toothpaste tube. You just toothpaste
It's
tubing it out.
Yeah, I mean, you would be surprised how much toothpaste you can get out of a toothpaste tube when you don't think there's any toothpaste left in there. Well, guess what? Same way with your asshole. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, if you're sitting like we are right now, and you got your legs at a 90-degree angle, yeah, you technically kind of got the straight line if you got perfect posture, right? But where's the assistance, right? When you squat, you need a belt to help support your core, right? Where's the support? Your hips are at this angle. It just doesn't allow for your bowels and your body to just fully tilt over and get... think about an excavator, right? If you were using an excavator and you just picked things up and just like dribbled it down, yeah, the job would get done, but it'd be a messy job. And it really wouldn't be that helpful.
You got to get it.
You gotta it has the function. Use the fucking function, okay? All you gotta do is buy a $10 piece of plastic that pushes your feet up, which is actually quite relaxing for stretching out your hips, especially if you're sitting all the live long day.
Yeah, or you could go my route and use this here fucking igloo cooler as a Squatty-Potty for months before you're like, oh, how about I just order a Squatty-Potty for $10? Because this thing, my feet are too high up.
Sure.
So it's honestly just a little bit too discomforting.
Yeah.
It doesn't get you that straight line. You know, even if you put it on its side, it's still a little too high.
A little crook, a little uneven.
Yeah, it slides.
No,
you know, you gotta get the Squatty-Potty.
And I'll even
this
admit,
igloo cooler, it was better than nothing.
I'll even admit, you know, the Squatty is a little high for my potty, and I'm not the biggest fan of the one I have. I got the cheapest one by far. It's kind of weird. It feels a bit more stoolish than it does Squatty-Potty-ish, and maybe I'll invest in a shorter one. But right now, it's getting the job done. I think part of the problem is that I haven't discovered this recently. I've just kind of accepted it and just started bitching about the reality of it. I have very long legs and a very, not like a short torso, but like comparatively short torso.
I have a short torso, Jack.
I mean,
I hate tucking my shirt in because I look like somebody crushed me. Like my torso is a crushed can, and then I just have long legs and long arms, and then it's just this small torso. Like, it's super weird looking. I mean, honestly, it gives me more of a boxy frame, so no matter how fat I look, my shoulders are still square, broad. I look okay. I'm passable.
I want to draw you as a cartoon, and this is it's something I saw in the Headspace meditation.
Oh no, you know what it is?
Cartoons.
It's like if a frog stood up.
I wanna just take like your head and mix it with your torso. You know what I mean? So like your shoulders are here. And your arms are coming out. I could.
So you want me to be like MODOK?
Yeah, kind of like MODOK, but like with really long limbs. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop laughing.
That would be so fucking horrifying because I tried to do it to you, and with your face cackling like it is right now, that would be nightmare fuel. Just have your eyes right here, nose, and then just
I'd be chasing after you and all your nightmares.
Oh, and then you would start moving on to children because you're like, oh, this is easy and fun. I'm just going to be the boogie monster.
You're going to be the boogie.
It's like Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
It's like Mike Wazowski,
Very Mike
just
Wazowski.
with longer, thicker limbs.
Yeah, I think Mike Wazowski, but like if he had the shape of Gumby. You know what I mean? That's Sammy Limbs.
That's nightmare fuel.
That's your third alter ego. That's Sammy Long Limbs.
I'm not amused.
This summer, the crossover of the Bumblebee Man, the Pizza Guy, and Sammy Long Limbs. It's gonna be great.
I'll just become the Eddie Murphy of ridiculous characters, Jack.
It's not a bad career to have. I mean, if you could pull it off.
Yeah, but it's not a career that I'm the one coming up with the characters. You're forcing them onto me.
It's okay. I think a great.
The only character I've ever had to have any autonomy with is Mikey Bikes. Only one.
Yeah. No, I mean Mikey Bikes. He does the job, and he'll be kind of
and the only one that I've been like, okay, I'll work a little bit with you on is Bumblebee Man.
Yeah.
The rest of them, go fuck yourself. What do you even have a name for this head torso Sammy?
Sammy Long Limbs.
I guess I just totally muted that when you said that.
I think I've said it 3 times now.
Yeah, I've muted it every single time.
Sammy Long Limbs.
Jackie Fuckface.
Everybody loves Sammy Long Limbs.
And everybody hates Jackie Fuckface. Because that would be you running around with your face on the torso. You're like, and then people are like, it's Jackie Fuckface, run!
It'd be great.
He's coming to piss us all off.
I'll tell you what, I mean, it would be...
Like, nobody feels like in danger around you.
No, of course not.
They're just like, oh my God, my day is about to turn south.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for, man.
Is it?
I mean... to an extent. So I'm trying to, my version of the man shitting on the street. It wasn't that same thing. It was just one of those things where like, life's crazy. You know what I mean? So I'm driving home.
Nature, man.
Exactly.
It's pretty neat.
I'm driving home from the vaccine yesterday. I'm on, the highway, and we're going fast. And there's an old, kind of
Wait,
ratty.
you go fast on the highway?
I go pretty quick. What can I say? I got what Vin Diesel calls a speed for need. So I'm driving behind this.
That made me furious fast.
I'm driving, and I'm not like behind this truck. I can just see it in the distance. I can tell this dude hasn't tied anything down in the back, like at all. Shit's shaking. And sure enough, once I like realize this big white kind of board flies out of the back, and it's kind of like particle board, so it's not a piece of wood, but thing's thick. Flies out of the back, hits the car right behind it. I see it just explode on the car, and I like blink, and I'm like, oh wait, that's a fucking cop. And I was like, oh, of course it hit a cop car.
Lights.
Well, he just drove behind the guy for a while, like long enough for me to pass the cop and just to see him like thinking. And then I passed the guy, and I just see him in his car just like, no! Like freaking out. And then as soon as I see that, I look in the mirror, lights click on, guy pulls over, I start flying past. And the thing that got me, the thing that made me really laugh about this whole thing was as I passed them and I could see both cars fully in my rearview mirror. And cop cars have like that kind of guardrail in front, the
push bar, yeah.
Push bar, yeah. The big chunk of that particle board was just stuck in that, like in his way. He couldn't see. And I was just like, I just looked up. I was like, you got to think this is funny, too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
come on.
No, see, that's my thing is like, the more that we get to have these back, I'm so excited. That's the thing. That's been really the missing ingredient is just passing stuff as you go and just being like, what the fuck?
Yeah. The bizarre equation of human experience.
And, being able to go into establishments and then run into somebody who's just super confrontational and flipping their shit. And you're just like, huh. Something notable that we can bring to the podcast. That guy took a shit for our benefit. And I thank that man.
Yep.
And I hope his butt wasn't too itchy by the time he got to the 7-Eleven.
I'm sure if he's doing something like that, he doesn't really feel much in his butt anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you think about it with countries that have like open defecation problems, they're just walking around with shit butts.
Like China, apparently.
Well, yeah, they have to put signs up in like shopping malls and stuff for like people from rural China. If they come into the city, they're like, don't shit here.
Please.
I understand when you're walking around on your farms and stuff, you just fucking drop a squat and shit. I mean, that makes sense. It goes back to the earth. But here, it has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people to take count of.
Tile does not decay shit, okay? That just doesn't work that way. It just smears it, It makes it easy for it to get everywhere,
It gets in the grout, man. Oh, my God.
You don't want to just shit on cracked concrete. Then you got to deal with that problem forever, I don't know. It's funny. I think about this a lot. I'm like, okay. The number of times I've been in the car and I've been like, fuck, I got to pee or I got to take a shit. You know what I mean? Like, and it's bad. And it's like, I could pull over and like do that whole thing, or I could risk this and get home.
Wilson!
Nice.
Christ.
Boy.
I think about that, and I think about like how awful that experience is, and like again, just stressful, and just again, no other animal on the earth deals with that other than maybe like a dog that's been locked inside. You know what I mean? Otherwise, all other animals are just like, oh, that feeling, good. You know? All day, every day for their entire life. They don't know anything else. And yet we are like, if we don't get to the porcelain bowl, our life is over. We will, I mean, again, Rogan says that if you're not shitting your pants, you're not living a very exciting life, which I believe. But, again.
I feel like that was more of a metaphorical shitting your pants.
It makes me feel good about myself. Let me have this.
Jack, have you shit your pants as an adult?
Have I shit my pants as an adult? I don't think I have.
I don't think I have either.
I'm trying to think. When was the last time?
Definitely sharded, but never like a full.
Yeah, never like a full shit. Never.
Or even like a load of urea.
No, I did shit my pants recently. I did. Let me
Let's
tell you.
get into this.
I might have already told you this. It happened a little while ago, but it was when I went to take Katie to Duke, right, to North Carolina. We were starting the trip, and the first day of a road trip is always tricky because like the first part of it's fun because like it's exciting and you're going and you're like, yeah. And then you eat lunch and typically, especially when you're driving through Kansas, which like nothing against Kansas, but like guys, get some new scenery. You know what I mean?
Build more stuff.
Billboards. I mean, I've seen so many cornfields. It's just insane.
And between that and Wyoming and Nebraska, we got enough.
And the one thing I'll give to Wyoming is they've got like mountains and some like scenery changes. Kansas is a beautiful state. But
Well, it's like us with East Colorado.
yeah, exactly.
We literally took it from Kansas territory. We're just like,
Exactly.
because Denver west to the border now, that's what Colorado territory was. And they're like, it's a little too shrimpy for a middle state. Let's just take a third of Kansas.
And let's put them together.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing I'll give to Kansas: super green. So there's that. Anyway, we
Woo!
yeah, it's really
super green. Super green
you guys
and
take-
Superman.
you guys,
you guys get Superman in
that
Kansas.
is true. That is true.
So cool. Good
And-
for you.
And Dwight Eisenhower, I guess, was from one of the towns we drove by.
I mean, and then Tech 9.
And you know how you know that
Oh,
there's
actually, no, he's Kansas City, Missouri. Never mind.
that is fair.
Tech
That's- yeah. Almost. But you know how you know that there's not much going on in Kansas is when you're driving down on I-70, which is one of the main roads of the country, and the most billboards you see are for a zoo that is about 400 miles away, a bunch of anti-abortion stuff.
Yep.
And
like Jesus stuff and then porn shop stuff.
So many porn shops.
And it's oftentimes they're right next to each other, which is
Yep.
just like,
and next to a truck stop. So you're kind of like,
What a country.
what's going on in this little triage of...
a lot of debauchery with Jesus watching.
I would call it true human experience. But so anyway,
Well, true scum human experience.
Right, that's
I mean,
fair.
you don't want to get caught up at a truck stop.
Yeah.
You go to a Love's, you don't peruse the shop. You don't go to the food court.
no,
You,
go
to the
bathroom,
massive
you leave.
bathroom, and you run.
Yeah, you get out of there.
You
okay?
run to your car.
and you don't touch anything in that
'Cause
bathroom.
Before you know it, you're getting mistaken for a lot lizard, and you're getting scooped up, and you're getting BF'd in the back of a fucking 18-wheeler.
It could happen any day at any time. It does all the time.
All the
time. Yeah, so we're driving and we stop at Qdoba, which I haven't had Qdoba in a while because I've turned to much more of a Chipotle fan.
Fuck your life.
The way I see it, Chipotle's from Colorado, got a rep,
But so is Qdoba.
Qdoba's from Colorado.
Yes, Qdoba, Legal Pete's, and Chipotle all started here.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of burger places started here too.
Fucking
Colorado is the home of a lot of fucking wild nationwide chains.
Nice.
Qdoba and Chipotle started, and then Illegal Pete's joined in there.
Well, you learn
But they
something
all
new
make
every
the
day.
same shit.
yeah, right,
basically.
exactly.
The only thing is that I still have a problem with fucking Chipotle is they still fucking charge for their toppings.
Yeah.
You got to go to Qdoba because you can get free guac and queso.
That is true. That is true. That is a problem. But I was at a Qdoba, so I was like, why not? Go back to the old days, try this out. I got this new, brisket, shredded beef thing.
They've had that, Jack.
But they were making like a big deal of this one. I think it was like some sort of like carnitas or something.
Well, that's different.
Yeah, it was like a big deal. So I got it and I ate it. And everything seemed fine, And we got to the hotel, which was right on the edge of Kansas City, and all that. Well,
Oh wait, no, you're right. The brisket is new. The shredded beef was what I was thinking of.
sure.
They've had the shredded beef.
I love shredded beef. Oh, so good. But we were in. We were sleeping. I was taking a script writing class, right? And I had to be at the class at a certain time the next day because time is time. But we had to be at the hotel because I couldn't do this like from my car. You know what I mean? So it was like we got to leave really early so that we can get to Indiana like at the time, in the time zone that Jack needs to be in the class. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. This is when we'll leave. This is when we'll do it. Great. So I'm kind of running the show that morning. Like we got to bounce. We got to go. Well, my stomach was not feeling good the moment I woke up, but I didn't really even notice. I was waking up like, shit, I got to take a shower. We got to go. You know what I mean? That's where my brain was at. Had my coffee, took a sip, and was like, oh, boy, all right, gotta get this out of my belly. And turns out I had to get a lot out of my belly. And I shit all up in a hotel bed.
Attaboy.
It was a short, though, I will say.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, if
as I said, I walked.
I think there needs to be an actual standard of how much comes out before it stops being considered a shart and
Yeah.
a full shit yourself.
The underpants definitely were gone forever and always.
Because I remember the last time I did it was when it was like probably like 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
And I was homesick.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on our recliner chair and just like, oh, I got to fart. And then it just right
Yep.
into my boxers. And I managed to not go below the leg.
Right.
But having to figure out how to stand up without spilling anything, that was the real challenge. And my solution was to really bunch it up at the sides so it created a seal at the bottom of it, as if I were wearing boxer briefs. And it worked until I was in the bathroom where I'm like, okay, I can clean this up.
I just remember going to my mom and my sister's room and just being like, guys, we have a catastrophe on our hands. This is
We
bad.
have a catastrophe, okay? Craptastrophe.
The only time I can remember like actually like pooping my pants, like not shitting my
like a
pants,
full solid?
like pooping my pants. Yeah, was I remember I was at Carl's when we were kids, and this is like, you know, we lived close enough that I'd always walk up to his place, but like as a kid, that's a long enough walk that you're like, all right, like I gotta have my, you know, ducks in a row here. But this is the time in my life where I was really nervous about shitting at other people's places. So I went out of my way not to poop there. I knew it had to happen. And I learned such a valuable lesson on this day. I had to shit, and I was walking home, and I was like, all right, either you make it home or you shit your pants. What are you gonna do, Jack? So I started running. And immediately poop my pants because running shakes it out.
Yeah, it shakes it up, loosens your stuff up. Your entire like focus shifts from your gut to your legs, and then it just blows everything out.
I'll never, because I remember it's like
you understand how marathon runners can end up walking to the end of the finish line with just brown on the inside of their thighs.
Yep, and like here's the thing, like I will never forget that moment because it was like literally like, okay, I gotta make it home right now. And like 1, 2, 3, oh. And then I had to deal with that all the way back home. Because what are you gonna do? Take your pants off and like bunch in the middle of the street? You know what I mean? Like that's not gonna happen.
No.
This is a neighborhood. This is July in Littleton. People are playing out there. You know what I mean? So I just gotta go home with a turd in my pants. I just tell my mom I didn't even like I didn't change or anything. I just said, Mom, I pooped my pants on the way home. What do I do? And she said, are you still wearing them? And I said, yes. And she's like, throw those
them away
right now.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that's nice about underwear is that if you're in that situation, you can throw it away and clean yourself up and still be walking around just fine. People like, you know, like Bert Kreischer, oh, I don't wear underwear. People are like, why do you wear underwear? I'm like, why don't you wear underwear? It's a safety net. Yeah.
It literally exists just in case.
Yeah.
You know? And
it's not like socks where it's like, oh, I don't like my feet being sweaty.
Right.
You know, like you can live without socks. Yeah. I mean, fratty douches on goddamn yachts do that. Mm-hmm. You know, so you can get over it.
I mean, I always wear socks, always and forever.
Just want to make sure that was recording. So like super paranoid about the tech.
Makes sense. We've
super
had
paranoid about the tech.
A couple trip ups over the past while.
Every even episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier so far. You guys might not hear episode 6.
Anytime that Anthony Mackie is the first one instead of Sebastian Stan in the credits, it didn't record. It just didn't work. I noticed that. They do it every other time. And I'm like, what does that mean? That probably means the Falcon's going to have a dope episode to end this thing out. But that's for another podcast.
Yeah.
My friend, what happened
Check it out
with
on
your
Tuesday.
Week? Yeah. What happened with your week?
Oh, well, I mean, my week started there, really. It was ending last week's review episode and learning that the camera not the camera, the USB connection to the laptop was not connected. And it was just a theme of technology fucking me in the face over the past 2 weeks, just going into the weekend. And, dude, this last time, it was so fucking bad. I was flipping out so much. I mean, there is footage. I might as well just tack it on to the end of this.
Yeah.
Might as well tack it on to the end of this episode, me flipping out on camera to the realization that the cord wasn't plugged in. It might be, Cherry Sammy for you guys to see me actually be angry. Because that was one of those moments where Jack, I was wondering how you were going to react.
Sure.
Were you going to throw gas on it? Or were you just like, this is probably going to damage our relationship?
I think I made the right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did.
Yeah.
You did do that. You made the right choice.
Typically, people should know when Sam is upset, I like to take advantage of this and really push the envelope. You know what I mean? I like to,
Well, it's happened before. I can remember vividly one time I was actually like pretty heated about something. I can't remember where we were, if it was your house or Lakewood. But I just remember sitting down and it was just that like, after the blow up. And then you're just like, hey, Sam. I look up and you had a picture of Nicolas Cage on your phone. And I lost it. because it was like not even the fact that, because at that point I was probably, I've come around to the genius of who is Nicolas Cage.
Sure.
So it wasn't that upsetting. It was either that or Russell Brand, one of those two. And I was pretty ambivalent, really. It was my hatred. It petered out.
You had like 5 guys back in high school that you just didn't like on principle.
And now I do like them.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Cage, Keanu Reeves. I remember.
Did I not like Keanu Reeves?
We just made fun of him a lot because we didn't know what John Wick was going to be.
And
so
I always was like, The Matrix is so overrated.
I'm thinking I'm back. You know?
I'm thinking I'm back.
I just remember you did that so much. It was so funny. So we'd make fun of Keanu, Nick Cage, Post Malone got in there eventually.
Yeah, but it was Russell
Brand.
Definitely. Oh, shit.
Yeah, you had your list.
Guy Fieri.
Oh, yeah.
And I've come around to all of them.
Yeah, they're all great. I actually really love all 5 of those people.
I don't know who to hate now.
Yeah, no. I think Post Malone's really, really cool. I think Russell Brand is actually a super smart guy. I think
once I heard his episode with Pete Holmes, I was like, now I kind of feel like a dick because he was struggling in those phases where I'm like, God, he's so annoying. Oh, I'm Russell Brand.
Turns out he's just really on a lot of drugs. And
I was also like, how dare you break up with Katy Perry?
Yeah, that's true. Well, that still is unforgivable. But then again,
I mean, I came to learn more her.
Yeah.
She's got that Taylor Swift syndrome
Sure.
of being like wild about the romance and being like, hey, it's not real, right? That's not how relationships work, right? Taylor Swift can write "Today is a fairy tale," but today is real life, bitch.
Yeah, that is true. You're gonna have to deal with realities. Anyway, so I annoyed you. I showed you Russell Brand. You did not like.
I popped off.
Yeah,
as they say.
So mad, but I didn't do that this time. I didn't do that last week.
No, because you were like, I've matured a little bit.
No, well, okay, let's not give me that much credit.
You know what? You didn't know what to do.
I had no clue. I was socially awkward.
It wasn't even that you were considering.
I was very uncomfortable. I started playing an app of me. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think it was really because that was the first time you could empathize because you're like, I've been there.
I get it. No.
I know exactly what technological headaches are like.
It fucking sucks. Yeah. I mean, it makes you feel like,
Give me a break.
Yeah,
Just
every
like
time.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, dude, it's so funny because I'll just hear my dad because with all this new appliances and stuff, and then he was putting up shelves in the laundry room, and I was just kind of like, yeah, it is just kind of one of those things where it's the Bill Burr joke where he goes, losing your shit is part of it. But after a while, I'm just kind of like, all right, how much is yelling at it really going to get it to go?
Right. Well,
And meanwhile, the day before he came downstairs because I was screaming at all this shit, and he goes, are you okay, buddy?
right. It's tricky, man. I don't know, because I don't really lose my shit necessarily in that way, but
You're pretty bad at it, though.
well, what I'll do is I'll get really worked up and I'll think about it a lot and I'll just kind of talk about everything. And if I'm really upset about it, I'll start throwing in the things that I'm upset about and why it upsets me and blah, 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 blah. But I think you kind of need to do that. It goes back to the swearing argument. If swearing is so cathartic, what's the point of making these words? I mean, they kind of have to stay taboo for it to be cathartic, but what's really the damage of saying these words at that point? Other than to make people feel better in the moment if they use them. I know that doesn't happen every time, but I don't know. Most everybody swears at this point. So same thing here. Yeah, for you, it's kind of, getting mad and just feeling the annoyance and the rage in the moment. For me, it is okay, this is everything I've been thinking, and I'm going to be fully honest about all of it. And again, a lot of people just don't know how to react to that from that kind of socially awkward, oh, well, you seem like you're really overreacting. It's yeah, I need to overreact to understand what is an appropriate reaction. Obviously, you weren't doing that on the mic to the fans or anything like that. Or
No.
I'm not saying these things.
Yeah, because the audio was not rolling during that.
And you're not angry at somebody about it. I'm not yelling at the people I'm upset about this. I'm just working these thoughts out. I'm working these emotions out so that I can control myself and I can see it from a more rationalized standpoint. But again, we're emotional beings. To think that we're not going to go through it's so funny. Everybody goes through it, and then everybody either feels awkward or gets mad at somebody for doing it. And it's what do you think they're doing? They're doing what you do all the time.
Right.
You just have a different way of doing it,
Right. Well, I've had to learn how to not flip out super quick because I work on the golf course, and so it'd be like fucking 6 a.m. and we're mowing lawns and stuff. There are residences right there.
Right.
And I had it last year where the mower that I use, it's had a problem where it just like kills out for no reason while I'm mowing. And I was having a pretty bad day.
Sure.
Like the night before was shitty, and then I was drunk as well. So I was hungover and upset. And that thing just would not stop killing out. And I was losing it on fairway 14. And Grant comes rolling up to me. He's like the boss. You know, he's not, there's Grant AJ Bones. So he's like the top. He comes rolling up to me and he's just like, there are people who live right here and they can hear every word you're fucking shouting.
Yeah.
You need to grow the fuck up and put that shit in your fucking box, dude. Like he said, not that, but I mean, something to that effect. Like, grow the fuck up. You're not a child. Okay. The thing doesn't work. Yeah. We know that. You know that.
Well, and I think, and to that extent, you know, there's a time and a place, and like they're totally appropriate. You know what I mean? We're 45 minutes through a 50-minute episode.
4 minutes left.
Yeah. Like, and you doing that like allows you to get that out, and then maybe.
And also, I really care about the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not a bad thing. It's hilarious, just speaking from an outside perspective, but like also like. It's funny because I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny, or like, you know, doing that at work, sure, at 6 a.m. when there's houses, but like, unless you don't do that and have that experience, you just might never notice that. And like, maybe it's not 6 a.m. in front of a house. Maybe it's, you know, in front of a massive group of people that are like all like watching, and then it becomes a scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, it was that. And then like I was talking about with the boot, handling that situation is, you know, yeah, you do really come off as a fucking child when you flip out like that. And if you are trying to get something and you cause a scene, you definitely aren't getting what you want. Right. So if I caused a scene with that guy, he wouldn't have been cool enough to stick around while I paid for the boot to get off.
Right.
He would have been like, fucking have fun with that, asshole.
Yeah. So
it's just, you got to pick and choose. And luckily, my thing is I flip out at objects rather than people.
Well, and I think,
because I empathize. I try to empathize, and every time that I've been yelled at by a stranger in public, I always come back with the reaction of just like, get a fucking grip.
Right.
Dude. Like I'm indignant anytime someone talks to me like that. Like that guy I was telling you about at the library who yelled at me when I locked my car and the horn honked at that lady who was crossing in front of me. Like literally, I was just like,
yeah.
Why are you so upset?
Right.
Why are you so upset about this? And why are you doing this? Like, you're being a fuck right now. I don't give a shit about your feelings. I apologize sincerely to the lady, but fuck the rest of your day, good sir.
Yeah.
You're not as noble as you thought you were.
I think too, to that, and I think, you know, you're in the fortunate position of being, you know, someone who gets angry, but someone who is an empathetic person and whatnot. And I think when people get older, they become more empathetic automatically, and you kind of learn that there's that battle. Like I remember one time a couple weeks ago, I was turning into work, and this like old guy. So like the way my work is there's like, you know, big 3-lane street on both sides, left turn into the little strip mall. Right. And I'm going right, and I'm about to turn. This dude just flies taking a left. And like right before I get there, and I like stop because I'm like, I don't want to run into this guy. And then he stops in the middle of the opposing traffic lane and goes, go. And I'm like, fuck you. You go. You decided to make this choice. And now you're getting mad at me because I prevented the accident that you were about to cause. You know what I mean? When I was going right and you were going left because you weren't paying any fucking attention.
Yeah.
And I stopped to make a scene because it would have been a scene if I didn't stop. And now you're angry at me for that?
I like that because I can be retaliatorily angry at people. You know, if I'm the one instigating it, I always check myself.
Right.
But if it was like that time I was telling about the 7-Eleven where I paid for my gas and they didn't start my pump.
Man, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. The guy's like, nah, I don't give a shit. Get the back of the line. And I'm like, man, fuck. And I got what I wanted in that situation.
Sure,
but it's like, you know, it's because that guy was being a douchebag that I was like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not more important than me, and I'm not letting you fucking walk all over me. Do you know how fucking much of a chode I would have felt to be like, oh, okay, I guess you're right. I was not going to the end of that line.
Yeah.
I was not going to go to the end of that line. And if I was, I would have been a fucking asshole, and it probably would have been escalated quite a bit.
Yeah.
I would have gotten my ass beat in the 7-Eleven by someone who clearly is unhinged enough to just yell at people in the 7-Eleven. So
I think one of the keys to just being happy as a person, especially nowadays, is just to realize like shit's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like shit's going to happen. And unless it takes like, 10, 15, 30 minutes to deal with, okay, then you can get a little upset. Or like if it's like right before we're almost done with all the work we had spent an hour doing, yeah, you can get a little upset. But like, I don't know, like some people just automatically, if it's not going their way, they'll make you feel that. You know what I mean? They will make you, remind you that you have inconvenienced their life. But it's like, you forget that like my life is part of this equation. The clerk's life is a part of this equation. Everybody in the line's life is part of this equation. And like, maybe if you had given it 30 seconds, like maybe if you felt that rage and you would go, and 30 seconds, okay, I'm still up there. I'm still taking too long. I'm still haggling. I'm having a conversation. Okay, get to the back of the fucking line, whatever, maybe that's reasonable. Maybe that's not. I think there's three things going on at any given point. There's like our raw emotional animal reaction, which is anything from like, rage to orgasm. And then there's the kind of the social animal of us, which is like, how much do we really value treating others? You know what I mean? Like, would yelling at people, wake up the people at the house, or would it, cause this dude to shut the fuck up? Like what, we got to evaluate these things. And then there's the third part of it, which I think is maybe the trickiest, the toughest, which is kind of, how much do you stand up for yourself? So you, in that regard, you're like, yeah, I'm just not going to let this guy do this because he doesn't know my story. He doesn't know what I'm going through.
Oh, and I laid it out very calmly and clearly. I said, I've already paid for my gas. I just need them to turn on the pump. I laid it out firm, like, I'm not cutting you. I'm not fucking anybody over. I've already been through the line. And then him being like, I don't give a shit. Get the back of the line. I was like, man, fuck. Yeah. Because exactly that. Because you didn't pay the attention or respect to it.
You forced me to feel like a negative to your story. So I'm going to tell you my story. And
when I wasn't even thinking. I didn't
know you existed.
I nothing you, sir.
Yeah. And then you have now made me feel this way. So I'm going to present a rational reason why I'm doing this. Like, me doing this isn't an attack on you. This is just something that happened, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to freak out? Okay, then this is my story. I got to stand up to somebody like you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And to discern that, and also just have the maturity to reflect on it and just know when and why to flip out. Yeah. It's one thing that with all this, positive affirmation and mindful shit that I've been doing recently, like, it's given me a second before I flip out on inanimate shit. I'm like, do I want to send my heart into that spike? Do I want to inch closer to that premature heart attack over a trash bag that's not fitting on this trash can, that if I take 2 more extra seconds to get everything lined up, it'll slide right on? Right. Granted, I was high at the time, but still, like, being able to have that little moment of, okay, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Well, and I think there's something to that where most of the time you're going to come to a place of like, okay, yeah, it's irrational to get this angry, blah, blah, or like it's irrational to get this emotional, whatever that emotion might be. And I'm going to stay calm. I'm not going to do this, whatever. Or you take that beat, you think that, and you go, oh yeah, no, I got to fucking stand up for myself. I got to fucking do this. Okay. Then you've given yourself that thought, not to be emotional about it, but to be brave and confident and like, yeah, maybe you're wrong, but if you're wrong with a perspective, I'll say, my first word was going to be a conviction, but I think that typically leads to more problems than anything. But if you're wrong with a position, with a stance, and you're either A, willing enough to stand up for yourself and not let people cross that boundary for you anymore, or you have the wherewithal to like, know that this is something that's triggered you. And if somebody comes at you with that kind of more, pathos type argument, you'll be more responsive because you're not just angry. You are now standing up for yourself, which, depending on the kind of person you are, if that person is like, no, this made me feel that way, you'll hear that and you'll go, oh, okay, well, I didn't mean for it to do. You'll have a rational conversation. You know?
That's been my thing, is figuring out how to be rational like that, because I remember, like 4 years ago, it was right after I watched 13th, all right? And there's a fucking idiot at work talking about, oh, black people just got to get their shit together. This is all on them, blah, 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 blah. And I just got so worked up about how fucking ignorant this guy was. I'm like, just fucking watch a documentary. You know, that's it. That's what my fucking retort was to it. And he's just like, well, anybody can make a documentary. I can make a documentary about all the stuff that I'm saying right now. And I was like,
can you really?
yeah, that's the fucking immaturity that he was playing at.
Yeah.
And he liked that he was riling me up. That's why I fucking hate people on that, like, you know, side. Because as far as you're talking, if you want to split it down the middle, which I hate doing that and labeling it, people on the conservative side really love working people up like that and just being like, well, but I could throw this other illogical logic at you and that'll work you up even more. And then you'll just spaz out like I did. And that shit fucking absolutely sent me on a spiral that I'm just like, I'm going to put this guy's head through the fucking vending machine glass if I don't get out of here right now. But because I was so emotionally attached to it and I didn't have the wherewithal to take that beat and breath and think about it rationally, is like, hey, how would you know what it's like to be black in America?
Yeah. That's all the question you need to ask. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, how can you say that as a white guy from Littleton, Colorado, and just be like, oh, I know the answer to black people's problems. Yeah. And they don't? Yeah. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. That's all I really wish I could have said. But because I haven't, developed that skill to bring that away, fucking, it was a problem.
But now you can.
Now I can.
And that's the key. Anybody that tries to get people worked up or anything like that, at first my initial thought is like, oh yeah, you're an asshole. Come on, man. Don't do that to people, because then what are you doing? What are you doing to benefit the situation other than to just really upset somebody who probably will inevitably upset you because of how much you've upset them? You know what I mean? I get it. I don't know. Like, everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got their, but like, again, that's where,
honestly, it's giving power to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. It's giving power to somebody else.
You have too much power over me, okay?
That's the entire reason we have this dynamic.
Do you understand how much power you have over me? Because you can just drive me up the fucking walls.
Oh, I fully understand.
And I like to abuse that power.
You're not superheroes. You're my super soldiers. I use you for my comedic weapon. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, I don't know. You get people who do that. I see that. And again, like I said, at first my thing is just kind of like, what else are you doing? You know what I mean? But then I'm like, I don't know. They really like to do that. So you can look at it in one of two ways. You can look at it as somebody who's trying to irritate you, which back then I cannot say I would have reacted any better. You know what I mean? Like, that probably would just got me to never speak to that person again, which, like, how much more productive is that? Like, just to cut human beings out entirely. That's kind of the hypocrisy that's going on right now. Is like, we want to build this socially equal society, which I totally am down with. And I think is like the goal of humanity. But by doing that, we're also destroying people along the way. Like, it's that back and forth. Yeah. So going to the people that like argue and rile people up, it's like, you can look at them as like these monsters and all that are just ignorant and pushing you and trying to make you angry. Or are they? Because I mean, like, look at you now. You're like, the question you just presented is the perfect way to handle that. You learned that you could do that now. Did this guy, I'm not going to give him any credit, but like, did he kind of forge that fire, forge that iron to get you to that place where you can have like I think that's a legitimately great way to have that conversation.
Well, it
was that question.
Yeah, it was one thing for me because it's like, yeah, we're clearly a political opposition right now, and values and opinions and all that stuff. And I mean, I am like, I was a total fucking bleeding heart liberal in that moment where the emotionality of it totally trumped rationality. And then the fucking argument is null and void. They just have me as putty in their hands to just fuck with. Yeah. Because they're not going to take anything that I say seriously or as, poignant, you know? It's not going to go in any sort of direction. So in a way, it just got me to be thinking like, okay, so if that's really my initial reaction, that like that's how I think I should fucking argue with somebody about this kind of stuff, that's the root of the problem. That is the problem that's going on, where there's no fucking communication between anybody now, because that's how it goes down. Yeah. One person gets emotional, the other person writes them off as a joke, right? Regardless of the side they're on. And so once that hit me, I was like, okay, that's how I need to deal with this stuff. Yeah. Is if it's something that is the opposition, have the question that I have in my mind. So say it's about people getting upset about the taxes, you know. My question is, why is America's biggest flex that we have the most billionaires and strongest military, but worst fucking cost of living and health?
Yeah.
Why isn't it our biggest flex that everybody's happy and healthy and we don't need to have this fucking strong arm just being like, don't you fucking mess with us? You know, like, cool. I like it because we can be allies and back people up because we have the strongest military. Like, fucking China is fucking with the Philippines right now. And so Biden's like, hey, fuck off or we will come and crush you. But then again, you think, oh, well, why do we have to be there? Why do we have to be in that position? Why do we have to keep throwing money at that? Why can't we throw it at fucking healthcare? Why is it a punishment to be sick in this country?
Yeah.
So it's like, ask those questions instead of just being like flipping out about it. You know, it's like, you got to take stock of your own values and figure out how to articulate it if you want any sort of edgewise word at any conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you want any just sort of productivity in a conversation, honestly, which is sad that we're at a place where like the best case scenario is a productive conversation.
It's bad improv.
Yeah.
It's bad improv where you're not listening.
listening.
If you're waiting your
It's a
turn
whole
and you
thing
have a
of no
bit.
but. Yeah.
Well, and even in just regular conversations with like people, not even, I mean, if it's your best friends, like you all have a good rhythm and banter. I mean, like we do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can interrupt each other, no problem. And it's not a huge problem. But in those kinds of conversations, like you're with people that you're friendly with or anything like that, and then the subject comes up, and then you immediately come up with a story that it relates to in your head, and then you're just waiting your turn.
Yeah.
You're just waiting your turn. And if that ship sails, you get mad that you didn't get your turn, you know?
Exactly.
But you're not listening to anything that anybody's saying.
Yeah.
You're not listening at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a mutual conversation with people that like each other and agree with each other about stuff. You can't even fucking listen. Bad improv. If you're not listening to what your other players are doing on stage and you're just sitting there like, here's how I'm going to steal the show.
Yeah.
You're fucking up. It's bad listening. Listening has gone out the window, it seems.
Yeah. Preach, man. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's
real exciting. Yeah, I'm real exciting. But anyways,
I was just waiting for that.
That's a good, well, I mean, you saw me slide.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But this is actually a pretty good segue, because this is kind of pertaining to my entire soapbox, because I don't have a problem flipping out on meteorologists and weathermen.
Oh, sure.
Because this week, let me tell you, Jack.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
Oh my God. It comes into Tuesday. Oh, I get news. The next 3 days are going to be shit. Well, the next 3 days, I have off at Insomnia, so I wanted to work full, well, except for today. But Wednesday and Thursday, I wanted to work full shifts at Raccoon Creek. And so Wednesday comes around, and I'm like, it's fucking cold out here. It's going to turn to shit. It's supposed to be snowing at like 11. And so they gave us the option to leave or stay. And so I'm like, I mean, I really wanted to have a full day of, hours. But if it's going to turn to shit, then I don't want to. And so, but that day, my aunt hired me basically to buy some cookies for a friend of hers and drive all the way down to Parker. While I'm down in Denver and driving back, the sun comes out and I'm livid.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking livid. Because I would have stayed.
Right.
I 100% would have stayed the full day.
Right.
And then yesterday, I ended up staying the whole day, and it wasn't any warmer than it was Wednesday. And I'm like, I woke up and I was fucking pissed on Wednesday, because I thought that it was going to start snowing Tuesday night, and it wasn't, and then got pushed back to 11. And I'm like, it's like going to drop. The shoe is going to drop here, buddy.
Which it did.
Yeah, today. Yeah. So yesterday I did manage to get a full day in, but I was wildly pissed coming in, and Grant even made the joke. He's like, "Oh, Sam's pissed that he has to be here in the cold." And I just let's stop. And I'm like, no. I'm not pissed that I have to be here. I'm happy to be here. What I'm pissed about is that I had an expectation, and it's these goddamn meteorologists touting about, oh, we have accurate Doppler radars, so accurate that we can predict a week out very, very precisely. And then it's just like, I guess we were wrong. And that's my thing. If you sell people an expectation and you don't meet that expectation, you're going to be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're selling hope. I wasn't hoping to have a snow day. I was just expecting a snow day. And guess what? That fucked me out of 6 hours of work. I'm trying to save up money because, God damn it, I am not going to live another year in this fucking state with this fucking bipolar weather where it's like, well, I guess spring starts in February. Oh, wait, no, spring starts in May. What are you fucking talking about, Colorado, you goddamn cunt. I fucking hate the weather here, man, because it shouldn't be like this. I would have worked this morning.
Let's do a little improv routine. Let's say you watch the weather every day, right?
Yeah,
So
what's a weatherman?
I'm Ty Stevens. Okay, I'm Ty Stevens. I work for the NBC weather app, and I'm out. I'm golfing, right? And it's a beautiful sunny day. It's a situation where everything that's happened, right? I'm Ty Samkins or whatever I said.
Stevens.
Ty Stevens. Tyler Stevens.
You almost said Ty Simpkins.
Simpkins, yeah, I did.
The actor from Jurassic World and Iron Man 3.
You come to me, you let me know what you think of my weather, and I'll react accordingly. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I find you. You go to Raccoon Creek semi-regularly. You're the local weather guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
you just know my face because I said it was gonna snow today, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's me. You're on the course, and I pull up with my cart, and you're right about to take. You got to go into your backswing. Right about this is gonna be your swing, Jack. Hey, you, Ty Stevens.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
It's Ty Stevens.
Yeah. What the fuck, man?
Hey, wait, whoa. Sorry, bud. Did we cut you off or something?
Yeah. What are you doing out here?
I'm playing a beautiful game of golf on a beautiful day, my friend.
Yeah. You shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. You know why? Because yesterday you said it was going to fucking snow 6 inches today.
Well, I mean, we had reports that the snow front might be coming in. We got to present, kind of the worst case scenario so people could prepare.
Yeah, so why'd you lie to me?
I didn't lie. I just,
Why'd you lie to the damn state?
Hey, man, I was just taking a guess.
Nope. No, that's not how this works, okay? You shouldn't have a job then, if that's what you're gonna do. I could be a fucking weatherman. It's just like, oh, it might be fucking sunny and 75. It might just fucking shit all over us.
Hey, who the fuck do you think I am, huh, Zeus? Huh? You think I can make lightning go boom, boom? Huh?
No, I think you're a waste of a man.
You think I'm a waste of a
you're
man?
a waste of a man with a waste of a job because your job does not follow through.
Yeah.
Your job is bullshit. Your job is about as consistent as being Santa Claus every fucking year. It's imaginary. It's bullshit. And you should feel bad.
Yeah, well,
you should feel bad.
It's cloudy with a chance of thunder. You know what that thunder is? My driver striking you with the temple.
Yeah, well, good thing I got a chainsaw in the back of this car.
You got a chainsaw. Hey! Oh my god! Oh my god! There are snow clouds.
Yeah, I bet there are.
They're coming.
Yeah, good thing I'm gonna bury your body in the snow. Get over here, Ty.
And that
scene
is how Ty Stevens died.
And I kill him.
Yep.
So don't come to Raccoon Creek, Ty Stevens.
Yeah. Send him fuck you up.
I got a steel saw with your name on it.
Yeah.
He's not even a real fucking guy. I don't even know any weathermen.
Yeah, I don't watch the news.
No.
What am I trying to do? Make myself angry?
I mean, that's the thing is after Trump left office, the news stopped getting in my face.
Yeah.
And I think that might be because my side of the internet rage ain't so mad anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely pissed anytime that I see something that Biden does. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Come on.
I just
Didn't have to bomb Syria.
that's the presidency though.
Yeah.
Now, you know,
I like your
it's,
rebranding of the baby cages. Good job. Good job there, dude. So, I don't check that. But then again, you
too busy
just
sleeping.
find out about stuff later. Like, I didn't find out about Boulder until the next day. I didn't find out about any of these recent shootings until, 2 days later and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, how does anybody get the news?
Yeah.
Because how I got the news was because Twitter was giving it to me because they knew it was going to piss me off. Now the algorithm's all fucked up because they don't want to show me the stuff that my guy's doing that I voted for. I'm mad that I voted for Biden. Honestly, if I stuck with my convictions, I would have voted for Kanye. Because Colorado would have gone blue anyways. My vote would have been a fucking waste. It doesn't matter.
It's true.
You
I'm
know?
going to vote for libertarians every year from here on out.
Might as well. I mean, at least you're sticking to a conviction, and I'm fucking sick of being split into two fucking parties that both of them are not what I agree with.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was thinking you got two. You really got two political parties. You know what I mean? Everything else is just kind of fringe. You know
Honestly,
what I mean?
it's funny because it's like they're called parties, but it's like you got two political cults, and then you got parties.
Then you got
where
parties.
It's just like, oh, you guys having fun over there in the Green Party? Oh, libertarian. Oh, what are you doing over there at the Tea Party?
Are you independent? Oh, you think for yourself?
Oh, you're such a patriot with your Tea Party. Oh
my God! I heard somebody that was like, basically. A guy was telling me, he's like, yeah, I can't say anything to my daughter because she'll just get angry at me and call me a centrist. And I'm like, what's wrong with being a centrist? Like, what is seriously? What's wrong with being a centrist? Because like the thing will always be like, well, you don't care about the people. You don't care about the people that are suffering.
100%. I do, because most people are in the center.
All I care about is the people. I just don't want to make emotional, irrational decisions that lead to further problems because I was so emotional about the situation that I didn't think from both sides.
Right.
This is something I was going to say was like, I think there's really two kinds of people in this world, right? There's people that look at the world with a how mentality and with a why mentality. One person says, how did this get done? How does this get done? How do we do this better? And the other person goes, why was this done? Why is it not as good? How could it, why? Again, they're asking the same kind of question, but two different outcomes, right?
Yeah.
But both equally as important, because I think the how, nothing gets done without the how, but nothing means anything without the why, right? And you just got people that are just kind of focused on those two things. And the problem is right now, I feel like those two things, you have, like, logic and emotion are both real things about being a human being. And yet we act like one is superior to the other entirely, when it's like, maybe they're both 50% good, 50% bad. And if we try to combine the 50 good and the 50 bad with each other, it could get pretty okay. You got a dog dick.
Winston, what are you doing? Dude.
He was trying to get up there with me, but I was like,
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Welcome to the
Say hi to
camera.
the camera.
Winston!
did you hear that? No, because he doesn't have headphones. But yeah, no, so the thought experiment I had, because I feel like so long as there are logical and emotional people, that's just what I'll kind of dumb it down to right now. And one believes that things can only get done by logic, and the other only believes that we should really pay attention to feeling and stuff like that. You're just never going to meet on the same page, because those two things don't really speak the same language, but they're trying to say the same kinds of things in a different way. They're trying to understand the same grand problem. They're not just looking at the tiny pieces, right? So I was thinking about, like, NFL, 32 teams, NBA, 30 teams, like these sports think about it. Everybody like that, for a long time, the Browns, right? Browns is going to be the Browns, Browns stink. Browns always complain, blah, blah. Now Browns are okay. Now Browns are good. Now, like, people are like, okay, let's see what, these guys can do. For so long, they had to suffer with that, but now they're in that spotlight. Denver sports have been in that spotlight. Obviously, Boston sports, LA sports, New York. What I'm trying to say with this is you need a lot of options, maybe not 32 options, but if you had like 5 parties, right? You had 5 parties because then that way one doesn't win regardless every time. Because the problem is now, if Republicans win, Democrats freak out. If Democrats win, Republicans freak out. And by the other freaking out, the other freaks out at the other for not, just accepting the way things are and blah, blah, blah. But like, when you look at it, it's like every 4 to 8 years, we're just saying the same things to each other. It's just different people saying the same things to different people, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's like I can totally see
Nothing changes,
Yeah, and you can totally see where everyone is coming from.
Exactly.
Like the way I see it, if Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers are going to do what they did for the past 4 fucking years for Trump, fucking do it for Biden. Be hypercritical of this fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Because I don't like him. I don't like him. I'm mad that I was forced into 2 fucking categories. And it's like, do I want the racist fucking dope game show host, or do I want the fucking career politician who's going to drop bombs? Mm-hmm. It's not a good fucking option, man. And I'd really love to have extra options.
Yeah.
And
I would like, extra, very serious, very, like, again, I don't want a celebrity or a career politician being the president because they don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, again, every president has had their share of highs and lows.
I want Richard.
Richard?
Yeah. No, wrong Richard.
Oh, I know. I know which Richard you're talking about.
Yeah.
We got that. Again, that guy comes...
Splat. Richard Splat.
Richard Splat. That's right. And, like, here's the thing. Like, the presidency is a tricky thing because it is maybe the most powerful position on the planet. But, like, it needs to be a position that is run for the people, by the people, right? So a person should be doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also somebody who's not 70 fucking years old.
Wow. I mean, that's that.
You're going to run a country whose mean average population is 20 to 45.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's bad.
You know what 20 to 45-year-olds are thinking? You know what 20 to 45-year-olds are valuing?
Right.
Go fuck yourself, you boomer cunt.
Yeah.
He's fucking firing people for having even a history of smoking marijuana, regardless of if they have a drug test pass or fail. Mm-hmm. This is like, I experimented in college. Well, you're fucking out.
You're done.
Hey, dude, Obama experimented in college, and you were his fucking right-hand guy.
No, again, like that exact thing proves to me that, you know, the keeping marijuana from people is a government conspiracy to that sense. Not saying it's like a full-on, but like, listen, since it's become legalized, there's been no real, you know, devastating consequences along with it. You know, there's a kind of a new kind of black market for it, but like there's a black market for alcohol.
It's really
you know what I mean?
yeah, it's like alcohol. It's for underage kids.
Exactly.
And it happens.
And like it would be so much worse if it weren't legal, because that would be the only thing that existed of it. 2, it brings in tons of money, tons and tons of money.
Tax revenue, baby.
Yep. I really, again, I don't know if this is the reason, but like people don't like people stimulating themselves, you know, with these different things. I think because it gives, like, getting drunk.
It's because it has no adverse effects.
Right. Well, that for sure. And like also it opens your
mean,
mind and your emotions to an extent.
Yeah, exactly. And it depends on the person. I mean, anybody can get addicted to anything if they're predisposed to any, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's still up for debate if porn addiction is real or not. It's because it depends on the person. It's a case-to-case basis.
Well, and also if you have a phone in your pocket all the time and you can go into incognito mode at any time, like, yeah, maybe.
Believe me, Jack, I have written a bit. I have written a bit.
I mean, it's just impossible to not expect people to I mean, it's naive to think people won't do these things.
Yeah.
I mean, it is genuinely naive and counterproductive because you put so much effort into stopping the inevitable that you're just totally not focused on what actually matters and what actually will make a better society.
Yeah.
You know?
But and it's like, because pot can't kill people, it doesn't have an addictive quality to it. You know, I'm sure that business-wise, coming up, people are like, well, nobody's going to buy this shit.
Yeah.
You know? And the people who are, they're not going to be addicted. They're not going to be buying it constantly on a regular basis. Well, I buy it all the time.
Yeah. And it's, well, and like, I think of CBD, right? Like CBD is maybe the best example outside of any sort of, you know, marijuana issue because
actually a really funny pot story from this week.
Really? Lay it. No, let's be funny.
It was pretty fucking good. And it's okay. So last week I had enough money that I could buy an ounce of shake. So I was like, nice, back to the joint game. And I get OG Kush. OG Kush, always solid. But this batch, it's hardcore indica, and it's like a fucking elephant tranquilizer for me.
Sure.
Dude, I was playing Xbox with Tanner and Mason the other day, and I fell asleep while playing. I was just sitting there, and like, it's this new game that they got me on. I mean, it's not new, but it's a new game for us called Elite Dangerous. It's actually a really fucking cool concept, Jack.
Yeah.
What it is they have built in this game, which is surprisingly small, 20 gigabytes. Call of Duty Black Ops, 200 gigabytes.
Damn.
This most recent one, not the OG. That's like 2 gigs. But still, it's like ridiculous, right? This is 20 gigs, and it has a 1-to-1 scale of the Milky Way galaxy. And you can travel anywhere. You can find suns, planetary bodies, clouds. You can travel anywhere, Jack.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you do in the game?
You have missions and stuff. You can go do courier stuff. You can do combat, mercenary stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty fleshed out because they've been building it for so long. But it's a 1-to-1 scale of the galaxy, and it's fucking difficult to fly in because the physics are real. So it's like, I'm coming up on this planet, but you're going like fucking light seconds, like for your measurement of speed. And so it's like, okay, I'm coming up on it. And then it just like the gravity pulls you in. You get slung shot. And it's just like, I'm a light year away? How? Because you just got slung shot by the fucking slingshotted. Whichever the past tense of that is.
The shot of the sling.
Yeah. You just shot past the fucking planet. And you're like, God damn it, I overshot. But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks fucking gorgeous. It looks realistic. And like, I was so captivated by it that I was so high that it kind of felt like Cosmos. And I was waiting for them to try and figure something out so we could all play together. And I was just looking at it, just like flying around space, looking at these suns and stuff. And I just didn't even pause. Like, I'm flying in circles. And then I just like, I hear them chatting, and then I just like, huh? Hey, and they're like, hey, there he is. And it's been like 25 minutes. And I've just been sleeping while playing it. It's because of the OG Kush, dude.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I had some.
Did they know you were sleeping?
Yeah, because they could hear me.
They're just like, is Sam fucking asleep?
Yeah, that's 100% exactly how that went. Like, did he fall asleep on the mic? How was that possible? OG Kush, baby. But yeah, no, I've been having to take it easy because yesterday I smoked a bunch, and then I was meaning to take like a 2-hour nap and then hop on the script, bang a bunch of that out so that we could get into it before we do this today. And I ended up taking a 6-hour nap. And then it was like 11:30 when I woke up. I'm like, well, okay, I'll play a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima. And I smoked some more, and I slept another full like 8 hours. I have 14 hours of sleep because this stuff is the best.
Yeah.
That is medical grade shit.
Oh man, you just sounds like you're gonna die, man.
Oh, dude, it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a gateway drug. I really want to see what kind of crazy shit I could get into.
You're ruining society, bro.
Oh man, I wonder how
You're a detriment to the human race. We gotta stop that.
I think that's like the number one deterrent for me trying to get into any other drugs. I mean, I can see coke, I guess, because all it is just the powder that you snort. So it's easy, but everything else has so many steps to it that I'm like, I am so lazy.
The moment
I bought a dab rig and I'm mad that I did.
I was going to say, the moment I need a spoon to do anything other than eat, I know that I'm well beyond my limits right now.
Yeah. Heat up heroin, snort coke, all that stuff.
Spoons.
Yeah, and dabs are just like,
oh yeah,
that one half step too close to hard drugs for me.
Yeah, I'll do dabs if like they're offered to me.
Exactly.
But if I will never go out of my way to get
I'll never
rig.
bitch out of an offer,
No.
but I'm not going to be a proprietor of this.
Yeah, the couple times I've
Or a
done
consumer.
dabs,
Proprietors sell stuff.
like there's like you said, it's just a little too close to hard drugs. Like it's a little bit too much where you're like, I am like, what I like about pot is I'm very aware, but when I take dabs, I'm like, I'm too aware. Like, shrooms, you're like, well, I'm just aware enough. You know what I mean?
It's like taking 3 shots versus drinking 3 beers.
Sure.
Beers like regular flour. Shots are dabs.
I would say what dabs do, like what shrooms do to kind of your spirit and your body, dabs do to your mind. But if you're not in the right headspace for that, that can get a little dangerous.
Right. I actually kind of wanted to talk about something spiritual today.
I don't like that stuff.
Good thing we got some segue going.
Yeah.
I know you fucking hate it. It's
I
not like you have
the spirituality.
It's not like you have like 3 other podcasts specifically devoted to this kind of shit. But it's also involving martial arts.
Oh,
so
cool.
I was listening to Chad Daniels' podcast, Middle of Somewhere, and I've been catching up with that like I have been with JRVP, and his co-host, Cy Amundsen, has psoriatic arthritis, so he's been kind of real hung up with that. So he took a few weeks off while he was getting treatment and shit. And so Chad had all these various comedians and friends on, and for this one, he had a friend of his, and this guy just became like so involved with Kung Fu, which I thought that was just like an umbrella, not a specific actual like time. I mean, there are different types of Kung Fu, but I didn't know it was a specific type of martial art.
Yeah.
And I know it's Chinese based and all that. But the thing that he was talking about that made it so much more attractive to me than anything else was the spiritual aspect of it, mind, body, soul connection. And I'm like, that's what I want from martial art, And I don't know.
That's what it should be.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's me being a contrarian. Jiu-jitsu's out for me, man. Because there's so many fucking Rogan heads out there. Just jiu-jitsu.
Come on, dude. Demi Lovato does jiu-jitsu, bro. Demi Lovato.
Okay.
She's cool.
She is cool. I listened to a little bit of hers.
She's cool. I like her a lot. But yeah.
Made me feel bad for the heroin joke I made about her a few years ago.
Yeah, she seems to be totally owning it. So, no, I think you're right on the money there. I think where I've been thinking about this a lot, and see, like people will argue with me about yoga sometimes, or I mean, like they won't argue with me, but they'll be like, what's really the big deal? You can stretch, you can do all that. It's like hot yoga, especially people give me a lot of flack for. They're like, what's the point? I'm like, I could get into all sorts of, like heat shock proteins and different, like different ways that flexibility has helped me in lifting and stuff like that. But it goes beyond even that. I mean, it goes to when I'm in that hot yoga class. It goes to when I'm lifting weights now. And like even people that may not do it for this reason, I think are still getting this effect. This is where like the whole mind, body, soul thing I think has been ruined by Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I think it's a really valuable thing for people to practice, but it's just become so cliche and so like, oh, it's a poster.
Monetize it.
Exactly.
Laugh, love, baby.
And it's a shame because it's like, you know, this stuff can really help people. Like this sort of mentality. Because for me, hot yoga, right? Which is not a martial art by any means, but I think it's the closest I've been getting, at least to like being in a class and practicing something really difficult. The way my mind connects with my body, and it connects with, and if I'm in a really good place, it connects with how I feel, and like the journey I go through that class, through that hour, is so valuable. Because yeah, if you're being very, very literal about it and you're just like, oh yeah, you do yoga, but then, you know, you're tired later in the day and like, you know, I pee all day afterwards. Like, what's the point? You know, like you just sweated a bunch. What was it? It's like, I don't know. Cause I did it. Cause I fucking went there and I did it today, and I did it and I got better and I focused on getting better. And I didn't think about anything else but that for an hour. And I would challenge to see who has the better mindset right now, because I'm clear, because I feel good, because I did something with my body.
Jack, are people bullying you for being so spiritual?
They are. No,
are
they're
they
not.
really?
No.
I was like, this is taking a turn. Like somebody's actually coming up and just be like, you're a fucking moron for trying to get in touch with your spiritual side as well as physical fitness.
No, nobody's bullying me, but it's one of those where like sometimes I can feel the resistance just with society.
That's your own brain, boo.
Exactly. No, but like I want to like reinforce why it's so valuable, because it's really helped me so much in so many different ways. And I'm just like, my experience doesn't have to be everybody else's experience, but like if we can get more people onto kind of the take care of yourself train, you know, whether that's physical activity or mental stimulation and getting into the flow state, or meditating and just remembering that like, good fucking Christ, the responsibility is not on you to know this.
Right.
You know what I mean? The responsibility is on you to experience this and to enjoy this,
Right.
you know?
Do you remember that little while that I was taking karate at Lily Gulch? So the problem that I had with that was it was the same problem that I had with piano recital.
Right.
It wasn't teaching me why, it was just teaching me what and how. And so I didn't have any connection to it. So why would I practice piano if I don't have any fucking connection to it? You're not showing me what's going to come of this, what's going to come of the practice. You're not telling me what the process is and why, you know?
Yes.
And it's the same thing with homework. I'm like, why? I already got it. I don't need to practice this. Just give me the test already. I'll prove it, you know? So that karate class, all we were taught was katas. We weren't taught sparring. We weren't taught actual self-defense moves. It was just do your kata, earn your belt.
Yep.
And I mean, now I could see that as like, okay, well, it's just kind of like a fast-paced Tai Chi class at that point with a belt system. And I mean, I got to orange belt, and it was 2 katas that I had to learn. That's it. And so I was